Is this light cool? Yes, it is. And it's also warm. It's a bicolor light. Focusing bicolor light from Intellytech. Let's take a look at it next. So this review is sponsored by Intellytech, but I only agreed to do it after I used the light for a month, and I thought, you know what? It's worth doing. I haven't done a review of a light in a long time, but this light kind of hits a sweet spot that I think is worth talking about. Hi, this is JP Morgan. Today on the Slanted Lens, we're going to take a look at Intellytech's new light, the X100, Light Canon X100. It's a great light for several different reasons. One, it's a bicolor light, so you got everything from like 2800 degrees to 6500 degrees, and it retains the light quality, high CRI entirely through that range. So that's the first thing. Secondly, it's a chip on board, a COB, which gives you a single source LED, which is fabulous for a couple of reasons, and really where I think the lighting industry is already headed and where it's going to go in full force in the coming days. And that is because you can put now a Bowens mount on the front of that single chip, and you can modify it so easily. So you got a bicolor light with a single LED source with a Bowens mount on the front, and then with this light you add the fact that you can change the beam angle from a 15 degrees to a 70 degree beam angle. That makes this light into several different lights on set. The first is, you put this on that really narrow beam angle, 15 degrees, set it in the background, and it's a great rim light. And we've been using it as a rim light often in that situation because it just gives us the ability to put it in the background, rim the person, and not throw light all over the set, and to change the look and the dramatic light on the person's face. One of my favorite ways to work with a light like this is to be able to use it with a reflector. And the reason that I love reflectors is because I would use grids. These grids go in this reflector and they cut down the area of coverage. But they also cut down the intensity of the light, sometimes by a stop, sometimes as much as 2 stops. The nice thing about this light is now I can focus it by just simply turning the collar. I can get up to 70 degree coverage, down to 15 degree coverage, and I can use it with this reflector, or I can take this reflector off, which lets it be a little more broad, and it just changes the area of coverage. You don't need all these grids, and it's just easy to modify. You can put a softbox on it, and that's going to allow you to give a nice soft light, or one of my favorites is a beauty dish. I absolutely love a beauty dish, but on a beauty dish with this light, if you put this on the 15 degree beam angle, it hits the insert inside the beauty dish, the intensity of the light. So first off, it's brighter because when you go to 15 degrees, it's going to get brighter. And when you go to 70 degrees, it's going to be a little more dim. But at 15 degrees, hitting this insert in the beauty dish, it bounces light through this entire dish and gives you a slightly harder look on the person's face. You might think to yourself, why would you want this harder? The reason is because it gives a specular highlight on the face and just looks fabulous. But you can really flood that out to 70 degrees in that beauty dish and give you a little softer light as well. If you have perfect skin, a little bit harder looks really great. So if you have not great skin, then a little softer. But you have that option because you can change that beam angle. You can also do a thing that Andy and I do a lot together, because Andy loves it, is that kind of warm light in the background to give yourself some, so you're mixing different light colors. We can put this on, 3200 or even cooler or even warmer, and you can really give yourself a kind of nice depth in the background with that warm light. So it gives you the ability on set to be able to change into tungsten, into daylight, and to change that color value as well. It gives it a nice look on set. Looks like a lamp in the background, gives you an interesting look. Let's talk about the build quality of this light. This is a very durable, thick aluminum body on this light. It really, you could smash this thing with a sledgehammer. Okay, maybe you shouldn't do that, but it's a great build quality. It's not a thin aluminum. It's going to give you years of use. It's made to be a light that's going to last and be able to stand the rigors of being on a professional set. That's really what this feels like to me. A light that's made for professional use. So the market has been struggling with this little device right here, the control box. And Intellytech has really solved, for me, what was the biggest issue with these on other lights that are in the market. And that is that you have a single source that goes off to AC power, and you have a single cord that goes to your light, and now everything's built into this one device. I've got my ability to dim and to change my color balance here. I also have the ability, if I need to, I can throw an Anton Bauer battery or a V-mount battery on the back of this, and with just a simple switch, I can now go from, I'm on AC power now, and I'm now on battery power. So it's just really easy to switch back and forth. This is all in one control box, which makes this absolutely So much easier to use on set without several different cords and 2 different devices you had to glue together or to wrap together. We wrapped some of ours together on some of our other lights. This just solves all of those issues and makes it very easy to be able to use this from one simple device. Going outside is not the only time you want to use this on battery. We were just shooting at a dentist's office last week, and it just works really seamlessly to put this on a stand with the controller on a battery. Now we don't have to find outlets, and we don't have to drag a cable around the dentist's office. It's tight spaces, so we can just shove our light where we want it to go, and we can run and gun and use it, and it's just a great way to use it. So we use these things on battery all the time. So this unit that contains our AC and our power controls and also our battery plate is also made out of great aluminum. It's made to be durable on set and feels like it's going to be a great companion to this light, because if this thing fails, this thing is not going to do you anything. I do like the fact that there's a short cable that comes with this light, so you don't have to have a long cable between light and control box, but they also have an extension if you want to extend that higher to be able to get this thing up as high as you want to. It's got a remote if you want to be able to run it off from the remote, which when you get several lights on set like this, it's actually a great way to work. You'll see gaffers dimming and changing the value of the lights, and especially when you're working by yourself. You've got a light in the background, it just makes it very easy for you to be able to control that light, raise the value up and down, the intensity up and down, and to be able to change the color, all that from this little remote. So this light comes in this great little carrying case. Everything we see here, including the reflector, you do have to purchase the remote separately, but it's got a great case to put everything together and haul it with you, including your extension cable. So Intellytech has equipped this light with a great fan. It's very quiet. It runs quiet. You don't pick it up on your sound. There's no issue with that whatsoever. A lot of lights this small have a problem with a fan that's going to be a little bit noisy, and that's always been an issue. This one we don't hear at all. It's made to be on set, and it's not an audio or an overheating issue at all. So the light Canon X-100 comes with 9 different lighting effects. And the ones that I think are really, that I've used the most, I use television all the time. I'll put a light up in front of a model at a chair or on a couch, and you get that flickering light. Fireplace. I put lights in the fireplace to create a fireplace effect all the time, so it has a fireplace. Candle. I mean, there's several others there. Just depends on what you're doing and how useful that's going to be to you. So, but there are 9 different effects with this light, and that's always a great addition. So we can't talk about lights like this unless we talk about intensity. So we did our 8-800 test. So at 8 feet at 800 ISO, I took a meter reading. I got 5.6 when it's flooded. When I put it on spot at 15 degrees, I got an f8.3. I absolutely love the aperture lights, and we use them here all the time. But this is interesting because it sets itself where on flood, it's kind of like a 120D, but on spot, it's closer to a 300D, the first generation on both those lights. For me, an on-set kit would be, I would have a 300D, second generation, and I would have 2 of these. Because now I've got a light that's a little more powerful, but I've got some versatility with this as a rim light, as a soft fill light, as a background light. Just gives you so much versatility. I think that's a pretty great kit if you're doing an interview kit. That's a kit I'd put together. So let's wrap this up. Who is this light made for? It's really professionally built. It's a lightweight, small form factor, easy to set up, bicolor. You've got great build quality, so it's going to last forever. It's great intensity. I feel like it just fits nicely into the market and into most people's kits. Every single one of the guys who work with me have said these lights are fabulous and they want to get one of them because the price point is excellent and the intensity is great, and the versatility with being able to focus it and flood it gives you so many different options. It's a key light, it's a rim light, it's a light in the background, just gives you all those things. That bicolor is super important because you can have a little bit of depth with a little bit of warm light, or you can balance it to the tungsten lights in the room if you're doing an interview. So if you've got one of these lights, post in the comments what you like about it. Tell us how it's working for you. I'd love to hear it. So leave us a comment, subscribe to Slanted Lens, and keep those cameras rolling and keep on clicking. Let's take a look at my Edelkrone travel kit in that SKB 1309 case. Edelkrone Slider 1, Syrup 67mm variable ND filter, Edelkrone Flex Tilt Head, Syrup 82mm variable ND filter, Edelkrone Head 1, 2 hex wrenches, Edelkrone Head 1, Edelkrone 90-degree brackets for Head 1, hex wrenches, USB cable, Manfrotto plate, step-down rings, cables, LP batteries in a Shutter brand case, more cables. Nothing travels like an Edelkrone slider in a 1309 SKB case.